Namaskar, viewers. Today I'm going to be just talking very briefly about the concept of how we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and that we need to remember this all the time, that we are essentially a spirit, a spiritual being which has come to have these human experiences that we are having right now. And we are not our name, we are not this body, we are not this identity. And the experiences that we have in this body, in this name, and in this identity is just the spirit having those experiences. That does not make us that doesn't make us that entity. So the entity that we are basically a spirit. So we live in the third dimension. And the third dimension means that we are basically, there's a trinity. There's a trinity which governs us. And that trinity is of the body, the mind, and the spirit. So out of these three, mind is too fast and too difficult to control and keep in a certain, get a handle of it. But the body is inert, the body is slow, and the body is what can be controlled. So in this existence, the spirit has manifested itself to experience human life. So as a spiritual being, you have manifested yourself to become a human being and to experience human existence. So, but while we do that, the essential thing is to remember that we are that spirit, that consciousness, and that we are not this body and we are not the mind. So those are just the other two dimensions which are required to experience the human existence for the spirit. So essentially, the true nature of your existence is that of just the spirit. And the body is a manifestation and is a tool, is a vehicle for the spirit to have this experience. So what I'm trying to say is that all of us need to remember this, because we have started to identify so much with the body and the mind, that these are my thoughts, this is my intellect, what it says, this is my body. That in all of that, what the my part actually is, that I am that consciousness, I am that spirit, which is using the body and the mind to express itself. And the spirit by itself doesn't know that it's the spirit. So to know itself, in Hindi we call it Atmagyan, self-awareness, to know itself, for the spirit to know that this is the consciousness which I'm talking about, this is the consciousness which I'm experiencing. The vehicle that is used is the body and the mind. So the spirit manifests the body and the mind to get to know itself. And when we have that realization, when we have that sense of enlightenment, when we have that Atma Gyan, that we are basically just the Atma, or that spirit, or that consciousness, that's when we have truly understood the purpose of our existence. And once you start to identify yourself with the spirit, you will no longer have, we will no longer get so badly trapped into this material world and the emotions of this material world. It is, of course, much easier said than done. We don't remember this most of the time during the day, and we get so caught up in our emotions and our mind and what our mind says, and the needs of the body and the five senses, whatever the five senses give us. But if we kind of remember this, that we are just the consciousness, we are infinite consciousness, having a human experience, and my name, my job, my family is all the experiences that I'm having as a spirit to experience human existence. But I am not that. And what am I? So I am just the spirit. I am just the soul. I am just that Atma. I am simply consciousness. And that's something which we need to remember all throughout. If we become more and more conscious of that we are just consciousness, we are just the soul, the spirit, that's when we will be moving on the path to enlightenment. So folks, just try and remember during the day, throughout the day, that you are not your name, not your body, not your identity as a work, as an employee, as a, as a mother, father, sister, brother, whatever you identify yourself as, all the many roles that we have, but just to identify yourself as the spirit, and that you are here, you have taken this body as a vehicle to experience the spirit itself. And that's why it's important to treat our body as a temple, because it's a vehicle. It's like a car. You sit in and you go somewhere. So the spirit has used the body as a vehicle. That's why the body is always used the term vehicle is always used with the body in spiritual texts, because the spirit is the individual and the body is the vehicle, the car in which that individual sits and goes and has different experiences. So it's pretty much the same. So we are that spirit, we are that consciousness which has taken, come into this vehicle. And it is very important to take care of your vehicle if you want to have a good experience, just as you take good care of your car, of the vehicle that you own, so that you can have a good experience of going from one place to the other. You can enjoy the ride. The same way we need to treat our body well so that we can enjoy the ride and let the spirit realize itself. That self-realization, self-awareness, Atma-Gyan is the purpose of the human existence. And once we realize that more and more, and in the 24-hour period that we have in a day, if we try to remember that more and more, we will not react to situations, we will not be caught up in the body and the mind, and we will be able to think from a higher perspective, because the spirit has a very high, it gets an overview of, it gets an overview of your existence. So once you see your life from that perspective, the eagle's standpoint, you will realize that nothing matters. And it's just the spirit which is here to have all these different experiences that we're having. So once you detach yourself from your experiences, you will have an easier, you'll be able to sail through life in a much easier way. So this is just a small talk I wanted to do about this, so that we remember this most of the time throughout the day. We are simply consciousness. We are a spiritual being who has taken the human form just to experience human life and to learn from it. So once we have had our learnings, once we have realized that this is who we are, we will be able to have a more detached view of everything, and everything will fall more into perspective. So thank you so much for listening to this. Namaskar.